Welcome to Quid Pros Quo. This week we'll be introducing ourselves.
I'm Isa.
And I'm Rin. I publish under CK Jensen. And this week we're going to be talking about our best writing advice, our book recommendations, and we're going to see where it goes from there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Best writing advice. I actually received some really good advice like maybe 2 months ago. And what it is like make writing happen. Don't let it happen to you.
Oh, I love that actually.
Right? Oh my gosh. I just heard that and I was like, wow, you know what? I think I do let writing happen to me sometimes, but I feel like being in control is like way better.
Yeah, and like don't we all just like let creative stuff happen to us? Like we wait for inspiration to strike, but really we need to go out there and make inspiration strike. I just finished reading The War of Art, which is one of my top book recommendations for this week. It's by Stephen Pressfield, and he talks all about like resistance and how we overcome resistance to being creative. And he just talks about like you have to like go and sit down in the chair and actually like write if you want inspiration to come to you. And he has this one quote from another guy that is just like, oh yeah, I always wait for inspiration to strike. Fortunately, it strikes at 9 a.m. every morning.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
so
funny.
It's so great.
Yeah, I guess another piece of writing advice that I absolutely love is that real writing doesn't happen until the second draft.
Oh, yes.
It just gives you the excuse to just like word vomit on your first, which is kind of what needs to happen. Otherwise, you won't have anything to work with.
Writing is rewriting. That was some other famous author. I don't know who.
Yes. So, second draft is where you can, sit pretty on your words.
Yes.
And really think about them. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of sitting, my best writing advice is literally to just sit down and write. And I have like ADHD, and that just makes it so hard to like sit down and do stuff. But like I know nothing ever happens unless you sit down and write. And do it until you can't do it anymore. Do it until you hate it. And then come back the next day and do it all over again.
Honestly, yes. I've heard it said before that, writing is just like any other job. You have to show up to work.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You have to show up, sit down, and put something on the paper. Mm-hmm. Even if it's complete garbage. Like, you can still work with garbage later on, but you cannot work with nothing.
Exactly. Yes, I couldn't agree more. I think my last piece of advice is if you're a planner, then you should plan stuff out. I know some writers don't like it because it like ruins the story for them, but I know I can't write without an outline, so use your process in a way that works for you, I guess is the best way to say that, rather than plan stuff out.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that having some groundwork can help you feel like you're not floundering when you're writing, and it can also give you a jumping point if you don't know where to go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's super helpful for me.
Yeah, well, you were saying The War of Art was the last book you read.
Yes, one of the last books I read.
One of the last books you read, yeah. So what else have you liked over the past forever?
Over the past forever? Well, my favorite book of all time is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. It's like a young adult, middle grade type novel, and it asks the question, like, who would you be if the world had no influence on who you are right now? And Disney made a movie out of it, actually.
Oh, is that the one with, like, Grace Vanderwaal?
Yes, that's the one with Grace Vanderwaal.
Okay.
So, that was my favorite book. The movie was okay, but, books are, like, movies are never as good as the books. Books are always better. Yeah. Another favorite is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which is just another amazing, like, life book. And then Flow and I feel so bad because I'm going to, like, murder his name. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I'm so sorry. I really should have looked up how to pronounce it before the episode. But it just talks about the science of flow and like how you get into like a good like work zone. And I enjoyed it so much I wrote like an essay on it just because I felt like it. So
that's pretty incredible. If it inspired you to write an essay, you didn't have to.
Over the summer. It was summertime, and I was like reading this book, and I have like so many notes from it. It was just so good. So definitely one of my favorites. How about you? What are your favorite books?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Over the past few years, I'm surprised because it's so hard for me to choose favorites normally.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
of
so
course.
indecisive as a rule. But I have, I don't know, I have a few that I really love and that I would recommend with full confidence. One of them is Vicious by V.E. Schwab.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, I know that she has been picking up popularity as her last few books have, been a big success, but Vicious is basically just about supervillains and how people get their superpowers, and it's so good. It's so good.
That's
I love
awesome.
the depth to the characters, the story that kept me guessing, just a fun world, so creative, and
Yeah.
I love her other works too.
Yeah,
But
I've
Vicious,
read her A Darker Shade of Magic series, and I adored it. It was so good.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
one
think
was
I've read
so good.
Vicious,
You
but
must.
I will read it and I will report back.
Yeah. There is a second book
Okay.
called Vengeful, and there should be a third one eventually.
Eventually.
Down the
We'll get it.
pipeline. Okay, another one that I absolutely adore. It is so emotional. It's just, what a trip. Oh my gosh. It's called The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon. And it's basically a story based on the opera Turandot. And it's kind of set when there's a bunch of competing cons
Oh,
in
interesting.
Asia. And basically, the main story that is in the opera, that will not spoil the book for you exactly, is that
Exactly.
a prince goes to Turandot, and he basically will be executed if he can't answer 3 riddles for her. And if
Oh.
he succeeds, they'll get married. But
Spicy.
this book, it was incredible. Hands down, I think that's probably my absolute favorite of the books that I could recommend.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So those are your favorite books. What was the last book that you read?
The last book I read, oh my gosh, modern retelling of Jane Eyre, The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. It was so good. It totally twists the story while remaining true to it. And I think it's good for people who love Jane Eyre and for people who couldn't get past, certain things in Jane Eyre. So whether or not you liked the original fully,
You should read this.
you will love this.
Yeah, because we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I was just enthralled with the idea, and I haven't picked up a copy yet, but I know I need to.
You definitely should.
Yeah.
You definitely should.
My last book that I read was A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen Peck, and I actually do know Stephen Peck. He's one of my professors at university, and this book was it actually gave me an existential crisis. I'm not sure if I would recommend it just because it gave me an existential crisis and I was crying, but it was so interesting. It's the story of a professor of geology and a devout Mormon who dies, I think, of cancer, and he goes to hell, but it's nothing like the hell that Mormons envision or that Christians generally envision. He's made up this religion called Zoroastrianism, and that's the true religion. I'm doing air quotes. And because they weren't Zoroastrians in life, they have to stay in hell, and hell is the Library of Babel, which contains every book that could ever be written. So most of them are just keyboard smashes. And you have to find the book that contains the story of your life. And that's the only way you get out of hell. And it was just, wow, it was just a trip. It was so good, but also just so sad, and had me questioning my existence after I finished it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
makes you think.
That is way incredible. Yeah.
Hardcore.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, there are 3 other books that I love that aren't as prominent as the other 2 that I mentioned, but they are still definitely up there that I read within the past year and a half. One of them is called Swords Point by Ellen Kushner, and it's basically about a swords master
Fun.
living in this little town area, and how he he basically takes on jobs to kill people, and when the nobility uses him in a circumstance where his little code of conduct might have been breached, things go south, and it is a fascinating
That sounds
read.
so
It is
good.
a beautifully done story. I also really like Lost and Found Parts by Sarah Griffin. It is set in a post-apocalyptic Ireland.
Oh, interesting.
And it's absolutely delicious if you're into like steampunk and things. Like, it's a new take on it, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And the last one is sad, but it's written beautifully, but if you're squeamish about certain content, then I wouldn't read it. It's called Season of Migration to the North, and it's actually a translation of an Arabic book by Taib Salih, and it is just wonderful. If you're familiar with Othello, there's some themes that kind of appear and keep reappearing, but it's wonderful.
That sounds awesome. What's the current book you're reading right now?
Oh gosh, I'm currently reading Rusalka by C.J. Cherryh. I know she's kind of was a big sci-fi name in like maybe the 80s, maybe the 70s, but like golden age sci-fi. She wrote a lot in that era, but nice. I just found this book and I'm in the middle of it, so I like it though. Yeah. I like it. What about you? What are you, if anything, what are you reading right now?
I am currently reading a queer romance called Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall, and it is just so good. It's like fake dating. It's this guy who is the son of two like 80s rock stars, and now he's like in the tabloids all the time, but he works for a charity and he has to like get his image back up. So he gets, like, this very nice boyfriend to, like, bring his image back up. And they're just, like, so cute. And I'm at the point where they're, like, meeting the parents. And I'm like, why can't I have a fake dating AU? Like, please.
That is cute. That sounds wonderful.
It's so good. Yeah. And then the next book I'm reading is actually not released yet. It's written by a friend of ours. It's the second book in his trilogy. It's called Full of Life. Book 1 was so good. I finished it a couple months ago. And earlier today, I was just helping him plan out book 3, which is so exciting to get, like, a hand in the process of making a book, like, other than your own, because we're both writers.
Yeah, so. That's awesome. Yeah, my next read is currently sitting on my shelf, taunting me, because I have not made much progress on my current read right now.
Yeah, but well, what's your next read anyways?
Yeah, my next read, it's called Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I am so stoked. I'm so stoked to read it. I've heard just incredible things, and I had it pre-ordered, but I guess that wasn't necessary since I haven't picked it up since I got it. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's like relatable though, because I have like 20 books on my Kindle that I need to read, and I'm just not reading them. I'm just not. So
oh my gosh.
I totally get it. Yeah.
No, that definitely makes sense. My gosh, it's hard to find time to read everything.
Especially when you're like a full-time student and working at least one job, because I think you might be working 2 right now.
I'm working 2 jobs.
Yeah, so super busy.
Let alone time to write.
Let alone time to write, yeah, which we all know is the most important thing, right?
So true.
But now that you know a little bit about us, let's talk about what Quid Pros Quo, this amazing podcast, is going to be about. So this is a writing podcast. It's all going to be about writing and reading and just having so much fun. We are going to do book reviews every once in a while. We are planning an episode where we actually review The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, which I just finished reading. Next week's episode, do you want to talk about that? Or next time's episode, we haven't figured out our posting schedule yet, but
That's true. Time permitting. Our next episode will be a little more, it'll be discussion based, and I'm going to be leading the discussion. It'll be on the concept of having a mother work, something that you always look back to in your creation process. Yeah. So we'll be investigating that idea and what that means to us and how that manifests in our lives.
Yeah, and I will be doing homework before that to figure out what my mother work is, because I just have no idea. I was only introduced to the concept of motherwork a few weeks ago when we were discussing episodes to make. So it'll be super fun. NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, is coming up. We're going to do an episode on planning versus pantsing and everything in between. I'll be leading that discussion. And you can expect either us trading off on leading discussions or having roughly equal-based discussions.
That's true. And one thing that we would like to try is, during our podcast occasionally, having little writing prompt sprints and just going at it for a little bit and then reading what we come up with on the spot.
Yes.
Seeing how it turns out.
Little flash fictions written in 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We think it's going to be so fun, and we would love for you to join us in those. Our other super exciting idea that I'm personally super excited about is having guest writers on the show. We know a ton of writers just through our writing group and just, talking about our hobbies and our work and our everyday lives. So we're going to try and get some guest writers on here so you can hear some voices other than just ours, and you can get some broader opinions.
Yeah. And eventually, we'd also hope to take questions from readers and see what else they would be interested in that we haven't already covered or plan on covering.
Exactly. That would be so fun. But in the meantime, thank you for listening to this episode. You should follow us on Instagram. We are at QuidProsQuo. We will link that in the podcast description. And I think that's it for this week. So come back next week where Isa will be leading our discussion about motherworks. Thanks for listening.